Hello everyone, this is Arrow, and welcome back to Sundown Moon Up Podfics. Today we're going to be continuing Learning to Adapt to the Fall by Supupdog. Chapter 25, Get to Know the Flock. He was getting a headache and Izuku didn't like that. He's been trying to think more clearly recently, but it's hard. He's supposed to be a normal boy. He knows how much trouble he's causing with his disgusting actions. His mama is also acting gross. That's what it is, right? He was supposed to be normal. His mama and him were not being normal, and that was bad. That felt right. It was the right thing, right? It hurt his head to think about too hard. He just wanted to be with his mama and not worry about being normal. Nestling. Izuku's eyes lit up as he turned around in the nest that had been on the first floor for 2 days now. It was rare for his mama to have a human talking day. He did talk, but sometimes he'd have to stop partway through the day. So far, he's gotten to lunch and was still talking. The food was a mix of cooked fish, chicken, and some raw meats. Izuku and his mama were getting back on a bit of a better diet for them, but eating the raw meats, or really meats in general, made him feel anxious all the time. Either way, Izuku was excited to talk to his mama using normal human words again. Mama, more human words? His mama cocked his head to the side as Izuku knew it was hard. It takes a little while for his brain to catch up. Izuku was sure that it was just hard to translate tweets to human, is all. Yes. More human speak. We have... He just waited for his mama to be able to think of the words that he needed. Izuku knows for a fact he's doing a great job at bouncing back and being a normal boy again, but his mama was having a tough time. His mama moved closer to him and slowly wrapped him up in his bright red, warm, safe wings. We people, elders part pack come here to see us, to be more big, strong flock. Izuku nodded his head along as his mama spoke, not with the right human speak, but good enough that it made sense. Some of Nezu's elders pack is coming over to get to know them better. It was understandable, but at the same time it put both him and mama on edge. It was Nezu's pack, his pups, and that means that it was Izuku's aunts and uncles. He'd had 2 before, but they just never noticed. They were great, but sometimes the way they acted hurt him. These ones are people, humans, he thinks, that were taught by elders so they would know how to act best around them. Is okay? Izuku looked back at his mama. His face was full of concern and worry for him. It made his chest feel tight because he didn't deserve that. He was still being a bad boy. Izuku decided it was best to smile and just nod his head. They could have people over, humans that should know how to act around monsters like him. They should be nice. Elder was nice, so Izuku was positive that Nezu would teach his pack/pups how to be nice too. If Nestling's okay, then okay with me. Me okay, you okay, and if not, make red and forever sleep. Izuku laughed a bit at the wording his mama used, but couldn't feel more happy at the fact that mama would go so far as to make him safe and happy. He used a happy/okay chirp so his mama would understand him a bit better. As soon as the chirp left his mouth, his mama relaxed quickly and wrapped him in his wings. Everything was okay and warm and safe. The elders' pack will not be mean, and they will like them. They'll visit them throughout the week to get to know them and become a flock, and they'll be stronger together. It was a little nerve-wracking, but that was fine because Izuku was being a good boy, so everything will turn out fine, even if he slips up now and then. Tokumushu didn't think this was a good idea. Now, don't get him wrong, he wanted to see his new little nephew and also other older new nephew, but he doesn't think they're ready. He's been looking up as much as he could about birds of prey, especially their diets, and they usually react with an even mix of fight or flight responses, since they'll be meeting them in their safe space, so that it's more in their favor. He was going to be going first and trying to relax them a bit more for the next 2 that might be able to come see them. if his meeting with them goes smoothly. Tokumushu was walking to the building that was made specifically for them and for anyone that wanted to stay there, if they were allowed by both the birds to do so. With all the time he was spending looking up all the different diets of animals and common animal mutations, or for mutations in general, Tokumushu made food that he hopes they will like. It was yokoi, a raw beef tartare that he mixed with some other things, like a little bit of pig's blood to make it a little bit more bloody, and he has some raw egg yolk on top of it. He hopes they like it. He tried looking up some things that would be good, and this was something that was made in a lot of parts of Asia, so it should be familiar but also new. Toku saw the building in the distance getting bigger, and the two people standing in front of it. Oh. Hey Sho. Hey Zosh. Lunch Rush lightly jogged the rest of the way over to the building. Both of them were in the lays around clothes, and when he was getting closer, Toku could see some stray brownish-green fluff feathers sticking to them. There weren't fully formed feathers either, still being downy and puffy. Hey Lunch, you're the first one for the day, and it seems like you brought food to make a better impact. Hisashi leaned forward to try and smell the food that was in the container. It was raw meat though, so he personally wouldn't be able to smell it. Like he always does, Shoda added on as he turned back around so he could go into the building. I'm going to tell them we have you outside. I will warn you that they could technically relapse at any moment, but we'll keep you safe in the whole time. Tokumushu nodded his head and then started up some light conversation with Zashi. He was able to talk about what he's been up to and how everyone else is doing. Some of them miss having Zosh and Sho being around, but they all know that where they are needed. Sashi will admit that sometimes it felt like they were walking on thin ice, with what Izuku went through and also trying to understand Hawks more. He was told that Hisashi and Shota think that it was about a week or two both the birds should be coherent enough to be more in control so that they can act normal. Tokumushu knows they aren't trying to make them conform, but at the same time they need to be more decent so that they have the ability to go back into the public or work and go to school or patrols. Being normal will be the only way they can live their lives without too many problems, but once they get them more comfortable here, then they could have some type of safe space at least. A ding from Zashi's phone broke them out of their talking. The blonde quickly looked at the text and confirmed that it was okay for them to come in. Toku was warned to be slow when walking in, and also not going into the nest without permission first. They both walk in, and unlike all the stories with people being hissed at when getting too close to them, LR didn't get that treatment. There was actually no noise from either of them when he entered, but their eyes followed his every movement. Okay, little feather, little wing, this is Lunch Rush, or otherwise sometimes known as Toku in private. Not many of us know his legal name, but that's okay. Everyone is entitled to their own privacy. Lunch Rush stood closer to the door just in case they wanted him out, or if he needed to leave for safety, but they just kept staring. It's a bit unnerving to feel like you're under a microscope and being dissected for every little thing that you are. Nezu does that, but he made it feel worse than these ones. The only thing that is giving the best comfort is the fact that he's wearing his hat that covers his whole head. They can't see his face. Oh, that was also why they were staring so intently at him. They couldn't see his face. He watched as Izuku, all the staff felt uncomfortable calling him Midoriya now, narrowed his eyes, then pointed at him. Why no face? Sashi snorted at the wording, but besides that, no other noise was being made. Hawk seemed to agree with this question because he was nodding his head up and down. Toku looked over at Sho and Hisashi, but they did nothing as he floundered to come up with a response. I don't like people seeing my face. Tokumushu finally said, but this just caused both birds to squint at him. Oh God, is this fear of people seeing him in public finally going to bite him in the ass? His socophobia is going to a bit crazy, but that's okay. He can handle it a bit more. We're good. Nervous? LR zoned back in and looked back over at the boys sitting in their nest. Huh? You're scared," Izuku so kindly pointed out, but now he was clearly see both of the birds seemed to be worried for him. Hawks then seemed to speak up, but his English was a bit worse than Izuku's. Us bad? Us make you sad? No, us make scared? Scared us? Toku tried to get both the adults in the room that are coherent to help him, but they did nothing, the traitors. We no hurt. We no like to hurt. No hurt us, no hurt you. Safe. Izuku seemed to lock onto the word and started to repeat the word safe, Hawks following close behind and also began saying safe a bunch of times. Toku personally didn't know what to do and turned his head a bit to Shota's direction because he must know what in the fuck he should do. Like always, his family seemed to be able to tell when he's trying to get their attention silently as his younger brother looked at him. Tokumushu watched as he was just looked at for a little longer until Shota mouthed something. Safe. Say safe. Oh, he's a dumbass. They wanted him to say the word back so they understand that he's safe. They are acting like little kids, or more like they are kinda drugged, so of course they would be hung up on that. They also might want him to say safe because they can't actively see his face and see how he's feeling. Toku focused on his attention on the birds that are still repeating the word safe, but they now seem a little bit more worried than before. Safe. Yeah, you guys are safe. We are all safe. As soon as the first safe leaves his mouth, both of them quiet down and just go back to looking at him. Sokophobia. Do be kicking his fucking ass. Oh, this is so bad. He hates his sokophobia. God, does he fucking hate that shit. Good, safe. Safe, good. Izuku nods his head at the wise words from Hawks. The young pro-hero is somehow saying something because even his two younger brothers seem to also be nodding their heads quietly. Hawks then looked at the little kid, tweeted something, spread out his wings a bit, and finally fluffed them up. Now with one pair of wings spread and fluffed out, Izuku soon followed behind him, but some of his downy feathers seemed to fly in the air with the movement. Nest now. Nest best safe. Toku has no idea how he ended up being allowed to enter the nest this fast. It took all his time getting on Nezu's good side to be able to work here. Don't get him wrong, he was in general ed in UA, but that was when Nezu was still a normal teacher. He kind of feels like an uncle to Tokumushu, and Sho, Zashi, Seki, etc. Feel like those family members that aren't sisters and brothers, but just somehow ended up feeling like sisters and brothers. Besides the amount of 2 to 3 years of making Nezu happy so that he could be on his good side, this was barely 30 minutes and he's already being allowed to enter the nest? LR was standing there just trying to think while the young blonde hero did some type of tune. Izuku did the same one, and then Hisashi responded with a different one, but that was obviously being the other part of what those two just did. Shota didn't make that noise, but did hum the tune out. This caused both birds to get even happier as his brother got into the nest. What the fuck is Lunch Rush supposed to do? Come on, Toku, get in here and warm up, Sashi said as he nestled in between the two fluffy wings, one red and the other forest-themed wings. Shota just hummed from his place that LR didn't know how he was able to lay down that fast, get covered in a blanket. Eiko sleeping on him already, and both Hawks and Eiko are purring? Did birds purr? Can you come out into the nest now? Tokumushu focused back on Zashi and Izuku, giving him big pleading eyes. Might as well, nothing else to do. As Toku sat down, he started to move the container open. The very light smell of raw meat entered the air. Both birds perked up. Wondering when you'd open that. Izuku shifted closer, trying to bend to see better into the box. LR looked at Hisashi, but a shrug was all he got. They can eat whatever they want. In the nest means in the nest. Plus, I'm guessing that they could smell that as soon as you walked in. They were probably excited to have some food you caught for them. Toku sat there and let things set in better. Yep, The others won't have any problems. They shouldn't have worried so much over this. Seki Jiro just got a text saying that he could come by because it had been about an hour since LR left. It also seems like Izuku and Hawks have calmed down some more from the time Toku left because they were a little down that he left so soon. That was okay though, because the food he gave them somehow helped cheer them up more. Seki knew for a fact that this was going to go so poorly. He was always so awkward with kids if they weren't in his class. What do children like? Should I bring a gift? What would a gift be right? What the fuck was he gonna do? Seki Jiro. He looked up to Nemuri, who was finally coming back into work, but even now she looked over her shoulder as if someone was going to appear right behind her. She smiled at him, but he could see the worry. She'll visit him soon. She'll visit after him, but is he gonna say something to make it where she can't anymore? Seki, you good, bro? Or do you need some help calming down? A cocky smile spread across her face as Seki Jiro scrunched up his nose. Ew, no, you're my sister. I would never. You would never. Nem started to cackle at him as he just kept his face scrunched up. This is what he gets for having a crisis in the teacher's lounge, isn't it? Seki Jiro gets up from his spot and stretches a little. Ooh, I can see your abs in this shirt when you stretch. He scrunched up and glared at his sister, who was cackling like the witch she is. This is definitely his fault for having a crisis in the fucking teacher's lounge, because Nem only picks on him this much when he's getting too deep in his head. I'm going to punch you. Oh, and look at this. One of my kohais has finally said that he was going to punch me. No, bite me for once. Nemuri gave him a slight deadpan face as her voice still had the I'm so proud of you sound to it. He sighs and starts to walk out of the room. He needs to get to the birdhouse, and yes, all of the staff started to call it that instead of the official name. The official name is Lower High Rises Unit, or the LHRU. Ken and Spine have been saying the abbreviation out loud like Luhuru. Don't ask him where the L came from at the end, but that's just how they are. Aw, what? Is my little kohai going to the birdhouse to see his new nephews? Seki Jiro ignored her to continue out the door and then down the hallway. He's glad it seemed to have gone well for Toku, but now he's going to be nervous for himself the rest of the time. Great. Aizawa watched as Seki Jiro was chased around the room in a more dangerous version of catch. This was more like catching the robber. Izuku wanted to move a lot, but didn't want to go outside because he didn't feel that safe outside yet. Hawk suggested cops and robbers. Well, more like the giant bird pointed to both him and Izuku and says cops, and then got a very big smile as he pointed to Seki Jiro and claimed him to be a robber. Sashi giggled as he saw Seki fall to the floor from Izuku, who got onto the top floor balcony when Hawks was cornering him. The whole time, seeing Izuku stalk up the steps and watching Hawks slowly but surely corner his brother in the right spot. It was hard to not laugh at how obvious it was, but Seki was facing the number 3 hero, and he was more focused on the bigger threat. The other thing was that his brother should have realized that both were pretty much equal threats. Ah! Izuku! Seki Jiro fell to the ground, with Hawks following quickly behind, so that he could hold him down easier. Hizashi couldn't hold in his giggles anymore, as they soon turned into bellowing laughter that was quickly turned down to a more reasonable level after Aizawa used his quirk on him. Okay, you got me. He let a smile slide onto his face as he saw his brother struggle to get out of the now cuddle pile that both birds made up. You lot should at least get back to the nest so you're not stiff after your little cuddle pile. Both of them started to walk over to help with the 2 birds that love to cuddle. Really, you wouldn't think by looking at them that they are touch-starved, but that's just how it is. Aizawa helped up Seki Jiro as Zashi got the birds in order as they collected everyone back into the nest. Once all of them were in and comfortable, where they were laying, Seki stopped complaining about getting feathers in his mouth. A quiet voice that hasn't been heard much finally spoke up after a week of almost no communication in human. "I love you, Papa and Dad." Hawks nuzzled the side of his and Izashi's cheeks as he whispered that into the air. Izuku was already practically laying on top of both of them while he was wrapped around Hawks, and Seki gave him a fucking grin. The cheeky little fuck is about to receive a foot in the ass for that one. Left Hawks and Izuku be all cuddly and lovey. It's weird hearing that from Aizawa himself, but it's true. Hawks and Izuku get to be cuddly/cute as much as they want. Chiyo was asked to come along with both Nemuri and Nezu to visit the birdhouse. She personally thought that this was too many people, but Nezu stated that it should be okay. Both the young hero and Izuku were okay right now and even quite happy. He thought it would be a good idea to have people they should have at least seen or interacted with before she does her checkup on them. They were getting closer to the birdhouse, and it was more than a shock to see both the youngings were waiting for them outside. Both of them didn't really want to leave the building for a long time. Hawks because Izuku couldn't fly yet and was still weak, and Izuku because he is slowly getting more scared of the outside world. Some news stations have already talked about Hawks' disappearance, but the HPSC has been stating that he's just doing an important mission right now that can't be talked about. Chiyo could see Hawks draped around Izuku's wings tightly, wrapped around both of them, protectively so that if something happened, both of them would be safe. "Hello, everyone," Nezu called out as they started to get closer to the group of 2 pro heroes, 1 young hero and hero student. Hawks and Izuku perked up a bit, but of course looked a little wary at both Nemuri and her. "We came here to spend time with the both of you, and then you'll both get a checkup once again." Hawks stiffened a little at the talk of a checkup, but seemed fine with everything else. Shota and Izashi both greeted them, and Chiyo was able to see out the corner of her eye that Nezu was being pulled into the protective, slightly stiff wings of Hawks. "Wow, I really can't believe both Hawks and Izuku made our dad family before me. Oh, woe is me." Nemuri leaned on Izashi and started to brag about how both the birds loved him before they even started to try collecting flock members. "Oh, be quiet, loudmouth. You yourself are practically a bird, and also your husband is little Izu's homeroom teacher that literally almost gave up his life for him." She watched quietly with Shota as Nemuri and Hisashi just had playful spat over how Hisashi became a parent so fast. Chiyo really hopes that this appointment goes over well. Dealing with 2 overprotective birds is a hassle, but it's better she does it than someone that is inexperienced. Chiyo will be getting their nurse the info she collected today, though, so that she could have a little break today. She's old, and Chiyo thinks she deserves it. Heroes and endnotes memes. Izu: "I am a normal boy again." Me: "No, baby, no. No, you're just trying to cover up that you're not getting better. Everyone thinks he's getting better faster than Hawks is." Me: "Oh no, baby, no, stop." Hawks: "I speak the human talk." Izu: Yes, correct." Sashi, Sho, and Nezu nodding along because they got used to the weird wording / half sentences. Toku and Seki: "What in the fuck are you saying?" Toku: "I bring food." Hawks: "You okay?" Toku: Izu and Bird speak: "Oh no, he's scared of us." Hawks: No scare, no, safe." Toku: "What the fuck?" Sashi and Sho: "Yes, very much so. Good words." Seki trying to just have his crisis. Nem: "Oh, let me get in on that." Seki: No, bad sister." Nem: "Just one time." Seki running away at full speed. No. Seki becoming like a toy for the birds. Sho: "This is perfect." Sashi laughing his ass off. Hawks happy to help his baby practice hunting. Izu loving the fact that he's playing. Chiyo hopes this goes okay. As soon as they get there, Chiyo... Oh fuck, they're outside. Nezu getting yoinked into the safe feathers. Chiyo... Oh well, that just happened. Zashi... I'm a parent. They loved me before the bird shit. Ha! Nem... Bitch, it's because you're a bird. Shut it. Sho... I just live and breathe and relax this whole time because I'm still so stressed, so no words, just humming. Alright everyone, that is the end for chapter 25 of Learning to Adapt to the Fall. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!